Do
Do you plan on painting after that?
well, yeah.
I actually like the smell of paint. To be honest. It stinks.
I can't even smell it anymore.
And of course, bleach
And what?
and bleach.
Are you ready? Please. Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. The Public Safety Committee. Roll call, all members present, except, Mr. Bossert. I have not heard from him. Maybe he will join us yet. Affidavit of posting, the agenda was posted in the office of the county clerk on the 14th day of May, 2026. Notice was sent to the West Bend Daily News, Express News, WIBD, WMBZ Radio, WTKM Radio, My Community Now, Hartford Times Press, Kewaskum Statesman, and Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. We all rise for a moment of silent prayer and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Thank you all for joining us today. I welcome the new members to the committee, Supervisor Pridemore and Supervisor Bossert. I'm excited to work with all of you and all the staff, county staff, public safety department. Just one reminder to everybody to make sure you silence and turn off your phones for the meeting because we are being broadcasted. And we will start with our agenda. First item on our agenda is a staff commendation for Deputy Blake D. Monk. Sheriff Schulteis will present.
Good morning, all. Thank you for giving me this opportunity once again to come and brag a little bit about our staff and public safety in general in Washington County. The story that I want to share with you today is one of teamwork. It is teamwork among law enforcement agencies, primarily the Sheriff's Office and the Germantown Police Department. It is teamwork among the Germantown Fire Department. It's teamwork among private citizens and even some off-duty firefighters that were on scene that day. So this happened a couple of months ago, but as you know, we're kind of in a transition time with the county board. But what I'd like to do is to bring up Deputy Sheriff Blake DeMonk. Come on up here. Blake has been with the Sheriff's Office. I said in here, I said 7 years, but I think the 29th is going to be your 8-year anniversary, if I'm right. Yep. Okay. So he's been with the Sheriff's Office for quite a while. Veteran patrol officer. He's been on accident recon. He's been on our CRU team, field training officer, peer support. So he's kind of all around rounded guy. So this is a commendation for his actions on March 10th of 2026 at approximately 8:01 a.m. Deputy Sheriff Blake DeMonk, a 7-year veteran of the Washington County Sheriff's Office, demonstrated decisive action and commitment to the preservation of life during a critical incident on northbound I-41 just north of County Line Road in the village of Germantown. Whereas police and fire personnel from the village of Germantown responded to the area for a report of a serious crash that involved a vehicle fire and the driver was trapped inside. Deputy DeMonk was in the area and responded after recognizing the life-threatening nature of the situation. Understanding that every second was critical, upon his arrival, he provided his fire extinguisher to an off-duty firefighter who stopped to assist, which allowed the firefighter to continue efforts to suppress the rapidly spreading fire. While extinguishers were deployed in an attempt to slow the flames, Deputy DeMonk and another Germantown police officer moved toward the burning vehicle to rescue the trapped driver. As the Germantown officer attempted to pull the driver from the passenger side of the vehicle, it became apparent that the driver's foot was pinned under the driver's side door. Working under rapidly deteriorating conditions, Deputy DeMonk was able to free the driver's trapped foot, which allowed the Germantown officer to immediately pull the 40-year-old Wauwatosa man from the vehicle moments before the fire intensified. And whereas Deputy DeMonk's calm decision-making, teamwork, willingness to place himself in harm's way directly contributed to the life saving of the driver. The incident exemplifies the importance of collaboration among public safety professionals, the community, in this case, law enforcement from two different agencies, off-duty firefighter, fire department, and citizens work together under immense pressure with a singular goal to preserve human life. And whereas Blake DeMonk's actions that day reflected great credit upon himself and the Washington County Sheriff's Office and represent the highest traditions of public service, professionalism, and courage. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Washington County is a safer place due to the dedication, quick reaction, and commitment of Deputy Blake DeMonk. He is hereby commended for his dedication to the preservation of life as a deputy sheriff. So I have we have body cams now, as you know. So if we put this out on social media wise, maybe some of you have seen it. Is there a way my screen can be displayed up there? Or is that my screen? I have to move it over maybe. Ah, there we go. So it's a very short video.
Yeah,
All right, go out that way. Behind you. Behind you, sir. Let's all of everything, sir.
So it just kind of exemplifies the teamwork that all the public safety has within Washington County among the fire, EMS, first responders, police, and even the citizens alike. So, but from our side of the house, it was Deputy Blake DeMonk. So I just want to congratulate you. Well done. And again, thank you very much for that opportunity.
Sheriff Schulteis, I'll speak for myself, but I'm sure I speak for the entire committee that we truly enjoy hearing these stories, sharing these positive outcomes from a tragic situation and appreciate everything your team does to contribute to that. So, thank you again. The next item on the agenda is election of chairperson. Do we have any nominations? For vice chairperson, I'm sorry.
Supervisor Berg previously was the vice chair, so I would nominate him.
I'll accept that.
Is there a second? Or any other nominations? I would nominate Supervisor Toma, vice chair.
I would accept that nomination.
Any other nominations? Second.
Or.
Yeah, do we need a second for nominations? Just an acceptance, okay. So we have two two nominations that accept, so we'll have to,
I'll decline. Just make it simple.
okay?
Yeah.
All right, then, do we have a motion to cast anonymous vote for,
So moved.
do we have a second? Okay, motion to cast a unanimous vote for Supervisor Thomas for vice chair. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations. Mr. Thomas. All right, the next item on the agenda is orientation and committee procedure. This will start with Mike.
All right. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to, as part of this orientation, wanted to provide a couple brief, additional, helpful comments to all committee members here as we continue this term and get to work on some important issues. About a month ago, I gave a larger orientation to the full board. And as part of that discussion, there were a lot of really helpful, I think, tips, issues that we talked about, questions that were answered. And so as part of this, I just wanted to kind of build on that for you and all to help you with your role here on the committee. So over the last month or so, I've met with all of you, either here in the building or in your districts, and I've talked to you about some of the things that you've wanted to see this term. And you brought forward your questions to me and wanted to kind of address those and build those into this additional orientation for you. So first of all, I just wanted to, with our committee here, wanted to start from the beginning and kind of go into the legal responsibility of the committee. And Brad, I think our attorney here would be able to describe that first. So.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody. So we thought we would take just a few moments and explain sort of the purpose of this committee. It might seem obvious, but actually the purpose and function of this committee is set forth in our county code. And specifically, it's in chapter 15 of our county code, section 32. So when you sit on this committee, if you have any questions or concerns about what it is you're supposed to be doing or what your authority is, what your jurisdiction is, you can find it there. Specifically, this committee is by code to consist of 5 members, and the duties include the following. You are the standing committee for various county departments, of course, related to public safety, and those include the sheriff's office, the medical examiner's office, emergency management, the clerk of courts, district attorney, local emergency planning committee, the county traffic safety commission, the radio committee, also the sheriff's grievance committee, the emergency management committee. You'll do things like, for example, and we hope it doesn't come to this, but on occasion you may even conduct a hearing. We've had vicious dog determinations in the past where the sheriff has determined a dog to be vicious. Someone might appeal that determination, and this committee conducts those hearings and makes determinations regarding those kinds of things. And when or if that happens, then I'm here and Mike will be here to help walk you through how to do those kinds of things. So by code, that's essentially the departments that you are the liaison for, if you will, and from time to time you're going to get presentations from those departments, updates from those departments, and the resolutions and ordinances and motions that come before you generally will originate from those particular departments, and those are the departments that will be appearing before you. So.
Yeah, so building off of that with the committee itself and sort of my role here, I wanted to just speak a little bit to the assistance I'll provide for the chairman of this committee as well as the members here. There's a committee process, there's rules, there's guidelines, and so with me and my role, I'm here to assist you with that and to help facilitate this committee in the process. So as we go forward here, feel free to, lean on me, utilize me for any questions you have on that. In terms of the committee itself, just some simple guidelines that we just want to touch on. As the chair said, please remember, silence your phones. We are being recorded here for the public. Something else I want to touch on that's useful here. There's always a point for germaneness. I wanted to be germane. That helps anchor the discussion in the committee. If there's a point being discussed, we want questions, discussions to center around that point that's up on the agenda. And so there's several guidelines here that we're trying to suggest and reinforce here for the committee and all the committees going forward in this term. I want to touch a little bit on policy and the process itself. We're going to have the department, give a little bit of their version of the orientation as well after me. But for my purposes and for your purposes, we know the department works very hard on policy that comes before the committee to then go before the full board. There's a very special relationship between the department and the committee. Something that I've heard in my meetings with you all is, questions on other kinds of policy and what else the committee can work on. I just want to reinforce the point that, as your staff, I'm here to do your research for you and to look into issues that you might be interested in working on. There's going to be a lot of really important issues that come forward with this committee. But as we go along, I just wanted to reinforce the point to you. If there are additional questions or additional points that you want more work on, I'm happy to do that for you, and we can explore that further. So I think the addition of a staff here in this role that I have will really help you, the members, with that responsibility that you have. So as we go forward, just wanted to drive it home again. Please utilize me, lean on me for any questions you have, and I'm happy to advocate for you and your questions and your interests. So, and then had a couple things. Are there any questions that you guys have for anything that I've discussed so far?
I just have a comment, if you don't mind. I just want to reiterate that I think it's important if we have questions on a agenda item or a topic to reach out to Mike or Dave and ask them ahead of time so they can prepare or research or have that answer at the meeting. Certainly can ask the question at the meeting, but give them an opportunity to prepare for an answer and instead of putting them on the spot, I guess.
Yeah. And to go off of that point, I think, the opportunity that I have here for you is to help make your jobs easier at the committee and the board level, right? So there's some very elaborate, complicated, but very important policy items that'll be going through this committee and all the other committees this term. And so it's important for you and for the whole body and for ultimately your constituents that things are moving forward easily and efficiently, and the process is being carried out as it should be. So again, lean on me and come to me with your questions, and I'll always be an asset to you as you go forward in this committee and the full board. So Brad, is there anything you wanted to add?
Also, as you move forward through this session, one of the things we talked about, and I know I've talked with the chairman about, is that we'd like to see procedures and rules followed more carefully. We'd like to see the meetings run a little bit tighter, motions properly made and seconded, discussion properly held, presentations made, and take advantage of the packets that we send you ahead of the meetings. I think that's in part what Mike's getting at. If you spend a little bit of time reviewing those materials and you have questions ahead of meetings, feel free to reach out to Mike. He'll reach out to me. You're always welcome to call me directly, but he really is your liaison. And that way, when you come to meetings, you can be a little bit more comfortable with the material, I think, and more prepared as well. We really are hoping to be a great resource for you in all the committees this term. You'll also notice that Chairman Schleif is here. He tends to come to most meetings. And I didn't mention this before, but the chairman of the county board, chairperson of the county board, is always what we call an ex officio member of every committee. So if forever we're in a situation where there's not a quorum present and maybe we're just short one person, the chairman sits in and can help make up that quorum. So it's nice to see the chairman here. He doesn't have to come to everything, but the more he stays involved, the better as well.
Yep. So all those points, considered, we're here to help you and to facilitate this. And so but I'm excited to help you with this committee in particular. There's gonna be a lot of really important work that needs to be done and should be done for the people here in this county. So, all that being said, I think we'll turn it over to the department and they can fill you in a little bit on what they do. So.
Thank you.
Okay, so thanks, Mike. Mr. Chairman, we'd like to bring up our department heads and introduce them. I know we do have veteran members to the public safety that have served for some time, and you know these folks, but I do want you to have them introduce themselves to you once again to give you a brief definition of what their offices do, and congratulations on your promotion to the Public Safety Committee. Supervisor Pridemore and Supervisor Bossert, and thank you for your service. So at this time, I'd like, Sheriff Schulteis, followed by Debbie Stodola, DA Bratz, Ms. Quickendale, and Dustin's here. There it is. So in that order, just come on up, and it's our offices are really kind of self-explanatory. So let it rip.
Good morning again. Yes, so everyone here is a veteran member of the county board for sure, and maybe Supervisor Pridemore is new to this area, but she's, I think, well aware of public safety in general. So the sheriff's office, we really have three different divisions: corrections, and operations, and communications administrative area. What I would say is that, and maybe Attorney Stern would agree with me or disagree with me, is that what I see this committee is the fiscal oversight of my office. We're not necessarily the largest budget in the county. There are bigger budgets of different departments, but we are one of, if not the most tax levy one. So I do not take that very lightly. So that's what I seek from this committee a lot of times, is a fiscal guidance in helping to how that tax levy is spent.
I do agree with that statement, Chair.
Okay.
I absolutely do.
I guess I should have checked with you.
No, it's in fact, right in the code, it says that this committee will approve necessary equipment, vehicle purchases and things like that. So you'll be very in tune with the sheriff's budget.
And if you're not aware, we have around 200 FTEs in our agency, spread out between those different divisions. And I'm always open to questions and conversations that you'd want to have regarding any of our operations. So if you have any specific questions, I'm more than happy to answer it. But I think ours is almost kind of self-explanatory what our office does.
Okay. Any questions for the sheriff? Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me? Oh, there we go. Didn't sound like it was working. I'm Debbie Stodola. I'm the Washington County Medical Examiner. Our office is charged with investigating deaths that fall under State Statute 979, particularly unexpected, non-natural accidents, homicides, suicides, that sort of thing. I've been with the county since fall of 2023, but I have been in death investigation for over 10 years, starting my career in Milwaukee County. So I have a lot of death investigation experience that I brought here to Washington County. We investigate just over 1,000 cases a year, and of those 1,000, we do 85 to 100 autopsies a year, and then around 100 external exams. I'm a non-physician medical examiner, so what that means to you guys is that I do everything up to the point of autopsy. We do not have a forensic pathologist on our staff. We outsource our autopsy and toxicology work to Milwaukee County. They are moving into a brand new, beautiful forensic science center that is opening in the next couple of months. We're very excited about that, having access to 7 or 8 pathologists, x-rays, CT imaging, everything that we need, a full toxicology lab. So we're well aligned with a great partner there. And we have 4 staff, 2 full-time, 2 part-time. We obviously operate 24/7. And The only other like big thing that a lot of people don't know about what we do is we are responsible for issuing cremation permits for anyone that is cremated within Washington County. So we view about 800 people every year just for cremation purposes and sign those permits for funeral homes. So any questions? I'm open, but yes.
Mr. Dola, can you tell us where the new toxicology lab is located in Milwaukee County?
Yeah, it's at the Freighter campus in Milwaukee. So it'll be a nice, right now they're downtown Milwaukee. So they're relocating to the Wauwatosa sort of area. So that'll be much easier, straight down the highway kind of run for us, a little bit closer for our law enforcement partners. It'll be really, really nice.
Thank you.
Yep. 4, 2 part-time, 2 full-time. Not there. All right.
All right, I'll repeat that question so people can hear that. Could you tell us how many staff you have in your department?
Yeah, I have 4 staff, so 2 part-time staff members that work obviously 20 hours a week, and then 2 full-time, which includes myself.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, all. Barry Bratz, District Attorney. It's great to see all of you this morning. Thank you for having me. We prosecute crimes in Washington County. We work closely with the Sheriff's Office, other law enforcement agencies here in Washington County as well. Primarily felonies and misdemeanor cases. We do also handle traffic citations and civil forfeitures that are issued through the Sheriff's Office or through State Patrol. But our primary caseloads are felony and misdemeanor offenses. Within our office, we have 7 attorneys, including myself. We're a bit unique within the county because a portion of our office is state funded, while a more significant portion of our office is county funded. The attorneys, for the most part, within our office are state funded positions. I say for the most part because we have, as I said, we have 7 total attorneys in the office. 6.4 of those attorneys are state funded. And then graciously, the county was willing to fund 0.6 in the last budget to ensure that we could have 7 full-time attorneys in the office. Unfortunately, and I'm not going to go too deep into this today, but unfortunately, that's as a result of the state not providing us the resources we need. So again, I'm very thankful for the assistance that the county gave in the last budget to ensure that we could have a full staff within our office. We do as well have 6 support staff within our office. They are funded through the county. And then we have 2 a victim witness coordinator and a victim witness specialist, which is sort of split between county and state funded. That's essentially the makeup of our office. I can tell you we had a significant caseload increase from 2025 from 2024 to 2025. I can assure you that's not as a result of a significant increase in crime in Washington County. It's more so a result of new leadership coming into the office and taking a different approach on how we prosecute cases and prosecuting cases a bit more aggressively. So that's sort of the overview. If anyone has any particular questions, I'm certainly willing to answer.
Anyone have any questions? Supervisor Schleich?
Thank you,
Sure.
Mr. Chairman. With Grant Scaife being elected judge, how does that impact your office starting in August? Will we be one short then?
So yes, we are, as soon as he was elected on early April, I posted for the position immediately with an August 3 start date, technically. We've received applicants. We're going through that process with interviews at this point. A hiring decision hasn't been made yet at this time. However, I'm hopeful that by August 3, we have somebody immediately prepared. And thankfully, Grant Scaife is going to stay throughout. I know some former prosecutors that became judges that took a considerable time off between taking office as a judge. So again, thankfully, Grant's sticking around to help us out through the end of his time in the DA's office. But the hope is, yes, that by August 3rd, we have that spot filled and we're not left with a vacancy for a significant period of time.
Thank you.
Any other questions, the committee? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. I am the clerk of court here in Washington County. So essentially, my office is, in essence, for lack of better terms, the face of the court system here in Washington County at the county level. My duties include making sure that anyone who goes through the court system who is looking to proceed with a jury trial, that I provide them with a list of jurors to choose from. I am also charged with keeping of the record. Any court filing that comes into the Washington County Courthouse is in my charge. And me and my staff are tasked with knowing what to do with those documents. Interestingly enough, last year alone, my staff took in 109,000 documents. So it's quite a task. So not only do we take those documents in, we have to figure out what to do with them. Whether it's take it to the judge, whether it's to redact them, whether it's to seal them, whether it's to point out deficiencies. There's a lot that goes on in my office. The other thing that I do is I'm responsible for the budget for the entire clerk of court staff. I have 23 staff members. Some of them are assigned to the judicial branches, so I have 4 JAs. I also have some that work in with the family court commissioner, because we have 4 branches here and 1 full-time court commissioner. Currently, my position is also the register and probate. So I oversee the guardianships and probate and civil commitment cases. The other thing that I do is I'm administratively responsible for running the courtrooms. So essentially what that means is if the monitors stop working, and in today's day and age, if the remote appearance audio visual equipment stops working, I'm charged with making sure that that gets replaced and knowing how to get that replaced. So we are but a spoke in the wheel, but we're a very important spoke in that wheel. And essentially we're the face to the public when they come to the court. And a lot of times when they come here, they've never seen a judge. They have no idea what the system looks like. They're confused, somewhat dazed sometimes. And honestly, it's probably some of the most critical parts in their life that they're actually having to move forward with. So sometimes it can be very rewarding, and sometimes it can be very draining for the staff to help people proceed through that. So, any questions?
Thank you.
That was probably a lot, sorry.
I didn't get your name.
My name is Sherry Coy Kendall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the committee? Thank you.
All right, good morning. So my name is Dustin Lofi. I'm the Emergency Management Coordinator, representing the Office of Emergency Management. A little bit about the things that my office does: disaster response and recovery planning for the county, grant administration for emergency management grants, so EMPG, EPCRA, some of the hazmat equipment and training grants. Emergency plan planning, as an example, the county's comprehensive emergency management plan, excuse me, EPCRA offsite planning, so development of roughly 65 facility plans for offsite facilities as part of the LEPC, an information coordinator for the LEPC, liaison to a broad spectrum of county entities such as fire, EMS, law enforcement, schools, and the private sector. Coordinate disaster response, as an example, the August 2025 floods. So coordination with all the communities that were impacted, damage assessments, disaster recovery, supporting all those local municipalities with their development of their emergency operation plans, things like that. Also a liaison between local governments, county, state, and federal agencies for emergency management, training and exercise for emergency preparedness. And my office is a single FTE. And as I've mentioned, I would be thankful for an additional FTE to support operations, continuity, and of course, adding greater value through emergency preparedness planning and supporting those local municipalities with their operations. So any questions for emergency management?
Any questions, for the committee? Chairman Slife.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I acknowledge your ask for another FTE. Don't know if it's gonna happen, but acknowledged. Also, I'd like to acknowledge that Tony Toma has been the county board representative on that committee for the past term, and he's agreed to continue to serve. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the committee? Okay, thank you. Mr. Sagers, do you have some final words?
I don't have any final words other than the fact that you just heard from the greatest team in the state of Wisconsin. That's quite a group of fellas and ladies. They do tremendous work. Obviously, public facing, a lot of effort and commitment on their behalf. But top to bottom, we started out with Sheriff Schulteis, none better. He leads a great group of men and women in our sheriff's office. They are amazing people, as we witnessed this morning with deputy recognition. So at the end of the day, I enjoy working with all of them. I do have 3 constitutional officers within my scope. So it's not like I can walk into Sheriff Schulteis' office and say, hey, pin one up here, let's step it up. That doesn't work. He runs his office. DA runs his office. Ms. Clickendale runs her office, and we're basically an assistant to them and trying to achieve the objectives that they want to see done within their own framework. So other than that, it's a privilege to be in front of the Public Safety Committee on a monthly basis.
I'll echo those words. I've had the privilege of working with a lot of those departments and those department heads in the past, and I will agree, the county's got a great team there. Some of those individuals, you may not need them every day, but when things go bad, you need them, and they're important roles. So thank you all. Anybody else have any questions or comments? All right, thank you. The next agenda item is our annual jail inspection. Per the Wisconsin state statute, so we set the tour date and time. In the past, we've done these following a committee meeting. Does that work for everybody if we do that, let's say next month? The sheriff, does that work for you after the meeting? Is that about an hour? Or?
If I can speak on behalf of the sheriff, I would suggest that if we can tentatively schedule that tour after next month's meeting, but I have to communicate with the sheriff, with Captain Lehman, who supervises the jail as a whole, to see if that date works. So we'll tentatively schedule it, and let me touch base with Captain Lehman and Sheriff Schulteis to see if that works.
Okay, we'll work out those details if everybody is consensus that that'll work for the committee. Okay, thank you. The next item is the 2026 ordinance to amend section 70-45 relating to fees. And Debbie, gonna speak on that?
Hello. So this ordinance is just a change to county code. We currently in the medical examiner's office charge fees for some of our services, including transport fees, cremation permit fees, and death certificate signing fees. We have a standing exemption for indigent or unclaimed individuals as a baseline. I am requesting that we add cases that involve children under the age of 1 and decedents who are going to be released to a whole body donation program. This aligns with most of the state's coroners and medical examiners and how they operate, and also funeral homes as well, who typically do not charge any fees in those cases. we might have 3 or 4 cases a year that meet that criteria. So it's not a huge impact on our revenue, not that we're really a revenue-driven office. So that is my ask today. You know, I think it aligns with the county's core values, compassion and integrity, and again, just kind of aligns with how the rest of the state operates in our world.
Okay, any other questions before we entertain a motion? Okay, entertain a motion.
Second.
The motion is to procedurally,
Motion is to approve the ordinance as proposed.
okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Bossert and a second by Supervisor Burke to approve. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is the National Weather Service Storm Ready Community Recognition. Presentation by Dustin.
All right, so this National Weather Service Storm Ready Community Recognition, it's a program and recognition that really exemplifies what cross-functional teams in public safety and the county and communities, all the things that are in place that they work to achieve, to get warnings out, preparedness for severe weather. So I have Tim Hallbach here, who's the warning coordinator meteorologist for National Weather Service Milwaukee. He can detail a little bit more about the recognition. So I'll turn it over to Tim.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, Dustin. Like Dustin said, I'm the warning coordination meteorologist for the Milwaukee National Weather Service Sullivan office. Just a little bit of background for myself. I'm the face of the office. The first person that I'm always talking to when a disaster happens is normally, thankfully it hasn't been Dustin yet, but we work very closely with emergency management people to both ahead of time to make sure that people know how to stay safe when hazardous weather happens. If you've been around long enough, you know of the history of some of the things that have happened here in the county or just even around here. So what the Storm Ready program is, the Weather Service, it's been a long, we've had it for like longer than I've been in the Weather Service. It's a basic kind of checklist of these are all the things you should be doing to be going above and beyond to be prepared when severe weather or disaster is about to occur. So it includes some things like working with anybody in the public to do storm spotter training, which ironically we have tomorrow here in West Bend. We have a day session and a night session that trains people to be, how to report bad weather when that occurs. It's a lot of preparedness work, tabletop exercises. Event support is one of the more recent things that we've gotten into is when like the Washington County Fair is occurring, you've got 20,000 or a lot of people in a space where there isn't enough room to shelter them. Coordinating that with our office and making sure that we're talking to the right people to let them know, hey, you've got like a tornado that's going to be there in an hour. Giving the county fair people some heads up that bad weather is coming. So there's a laundry list of all these things that Dustin, Rob, and his predecessor had gone through to make sure that the county is prepared when severe weather or disaster potentially happens. So this is Washington County's the 20th county in the state to get Storm Ready certified for all the stuff that they've gone through. So on behalf of the Weather Service, congratulations, thank you. As someone who also, my in-laws all live here in West Bend, in Washington County. So, makes me feel good that, people are taking extra steps to keep them and everybody safe in the county here. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or Dustin, if you have anything you wanted to say or just thank you.
So is this a certification or a recognition? Could you just clarify?
Certification and recognition.
Okay.
So basically the process is do all these things, you get certified as being storm ready. The process is in 5 years, we check back in to make sure that all the things are still occurring there. And this, so just to back up a little bit, we're in the federal government, the National Weather Service, Department of Commerce, and NOAA. This is a federally standard program that is run across the nation. So there's other communities. We've got like the Milwaukee Brewers are part of this as well. That they've taken these preemptive steps to make sure that they're safe. So this is the not recommendation, the recognition to let you guys know that Dustin and the EM folks here are doing a great job.
Great news. It's a great partnership with the National Weather Service. Tim, I've received many emails from you when a storm's coming through.
Yeah, I apologize for that.
That's all right.
It's been a month.
All right, thank you. Anybody have any questions? All right, thank you, Dustin. And
we've got a sign here. I don't know if you want to do a photo op or something, or
We can do it.
no. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is discussion, Washington County countywide medical services EMS system. Mr.
Oh, good
Figure.
morning, everybody. Mr. New Owner is handing out a hard copy of the PowerPoint that I'm going to speak to. So I want to start out with the mission our mission statement from Washington County. And just to reiterate this and expand on what our mission is. And it's very important to look at the verbiage identified within that mission statement. We create an environment for residents and businesses to enjoy our authentic quality of life through a well-governed and administered county dedicated to safe and secure communities, economic growth and vitality, effective mobility and reliable infrastructure and access to basic needs. That's really important to recognize that first sentence. We create the environment. We're not here to create the authentic life for you, but the environment that authentic life can exist. And I like to always reiterate that and reference it. I also like to emphasize our strategic priorities that the county board, the county executive often speak to. Mission, vision, values, our ethos, and within the safe and secure communities, we do like to emphasize the pillar of aligning expertise, technology, and scarce resources for justice, personal safety, and crime prevention. So those are constant pillars, core tenets of what we try to achieve daily in Washington County and creating that environment to enjoy your authentic life here. This recently, early this year, you also adopted these initiatives, Initiative 5 with community partnerships. And it's important to recognize, let me get my glasses. My apologies. I did the last one without them and it was very challenging. So I don't like reading this entire body that's provided to you, but we do have an action items, if you will, under Initiative 5. And this is what we're here to speak to at a very high level. As part of the 2026-2027 biennial budget, staff will propose a continuation of fire EMS funding of no less than $1 million for 2026 with a plan to recommend permanent funding for 2027 and beyond. That second bullet point, in cooperation with the municipal chief elected officials and the Washington County Fire Chiefs Association, staff will make a comprehensive proposal for an EMS consortium and a volunteer fire support plan for execution no later than January 1st, 2028, along with a corresponding county funding plan. So that's what we're here today to introduce this conversation. It's a discussion regarding that initiative and those action items. There's nothing to decide on. It's a very high level conversation. And monthly meetings will get deeper and deeper into the details. And quite frankly, the proposal that we have is quite good, but it still needs work. We still need effort with our chief elected officials, with our administrators, with our fire chiefs. So it's a constantly moving piece, and it's not perfect. I would love it to be perfect, but it's not perfect. We're getting there, but it's not there yet. So beginning here, I want to first start out, and this is truly a coincidence. I want to acknowledge Happy EMS Week to all our firefighters, our law enforcement officers, our emergency dispatchers, all part of that EMS system that provide those services. Additionally, I like the logo that Washington County has. We're in our 190th year. We're celebrating 190 years of Washington County. For 190 years, Washington County has always been at an arm's length with fire and EMS up until several years ago. So in identifying those things, the objective of this proposal, as in the action items proposed in the initiative, our objective is building a stable community center EMS system for the next generation and hopefully beyond. But our objectives are clear: to mitigate long-term property tax burden for Washington County taxpayers, proliferate the volunteer and paid-on-call fire and EMS services, preserve satisfactory level of EMS service for all Washington County citizens, relieve municipal fiscal pressure, provide fiscal sustainable improvements for fire EMS departments while maintaining local control. 5 very clear and pinpointed objectives that throughout the last 3 years, we've been working to create that proposal that hopefully hits all those benchmarks. A little history: in 2023, the fire chiefs came to Washington County requesting assistance. They saw that on the horizon there were some challenges. In 2024, the county fire EMS grants program begins with a $1 million fire and EMS grant through the county board and the county executive. That initiative continued through 2025. And again, in 2026, that grant support was there, while stakeholder work groups were formed. So, and in 2026, the countywide EMS proposal developed. So we're at that development level, but I want to talk a little bit about the stakeholder work group formed. Administrators, chief elected officials, fire chiefs, all have meetings harmoniously, wonderful meetings. And multiple at best is a good adjective to use, because they were numerous. In fact, we have a chief elected and administrator meeting scheduled for next week. So we're constantly meeting, trying to cipher through all the challenges that we're seeing through this process. Washington County has a unique statute within state law. The statute is irrelevant, but the statute number is irrelevant. The statute's very relevant. It states that the amount of county levies in a given year to fund a countywide emergency medical system is exempt from the general levy limit. This exemption only applies to counties where there's only 72 of us. Inside the state of Wisconsin, 14 other counties do use this statute. Those examples were cited in your packet if you want to look through your packet and see which counties do that, none of which do anything that this proposal is looking to do. So we're unique in that arena. Without county support, municipalities may be forced to hold a referenda, borrow money, cut services, shift funds internally, the old adage, robbing Peter to pay Paul, or creating new taxing districts, none of which are really good options. But those are the options that are available to our municipalities. This slide shows what our cost per capita simulated EMS levy in the system. It reflects, if you look at that gold bar is what our net new construction year over year is allowed for our municipalities. That references the levy caps that are placed on our towns, villages, and cities. And that's over the course of the next 10 years. That's the increase that our municipalities can go to without referenda or borrowing or cutting services or creating new taxing districts. That blue line reflects the projected 5 and 10-year costs. And that's very hard to do for our fire chiefs and fire departments. Typically speaking, we just worry about tomorrow or next budget cycle. It's very hard to depict what your costs are going to be. So we asked our fire chiefs to give us a 5 and 10-year projection. And that basically is that. If that's the case, great. That's what it is. We know. If it's not, then it changes. But we're just trying to get that estimate compared to net new construction and what that gap is. The county executive often during the budget cycle, he'll often refer to a diagram such as this, right? Where here's the line that we have going into the next budget cycle. This is what it's going to be. And here's the gap. And we have to somehow find that sweet spot to manage to create a good budget for our citizens. So that gap, you can see, continues to grow throughout the next 10 years. Some of the projections that our chiefs identify too with those costs is that the demand for our EMS service is increasing rapidly. And I do want to take one second out of this. Is a lot of the information and graphs that I have are in appreciation of Chief Greg West from Richfield Fire. He has worked relentlessly in trying to provide as much data as possible. We all love data. We can't make good decisions without data, right? That's why Mr. Dahl is so excellent in his position, because he's always providing excellent data that you can review and make good decisions predicated off that. Chief West has done the same thing. Data, data, data. So this graph, in appreciation of Chief West and recognition of him, identified from 2018 through 2025. 2018 had roughly 11,000 EMS calls. 2025, roughly 16,000. So it's peaking, it's increased by 50% over the course of those 7 years. So if you can imagine what is coming, predicated on the past and the data that we have, it's going to double since 2018 in the next 5 to 7 years. That's all predicated on our citizens, our people. So this graph reflects what our population was in 1970 and how much it's increased over the past 50 years to 2020. That's a particular interesting graph because we're growing. Maybe not as rapidly as we would like to, but maybe some feel like, hey, we're growing just fine. We don't need any more people. We don't. But at the end of the day, this is the graph that depicts our growth over time. So as we grow, the service demand increases. With those service demand increases, our population by our demographic and age groups, you can see the green was the 2010 demographic for our citizens, and that blue is the 2020 demographic of our citizens. You can see in the past 10 years, that blue column is growing. And that's not a criticism, it's just reality. And the older you get, the more services you may require. And that's where our fire and EMS, law enforcement, all those services are being demanded at an increasingly high rate. This age pyramid, I like this one because it pulls out our female versus male and gives you kind of like a bell curve. And right now, us guys got to pick up the slack a little bit because the ladies are living far longer than us men. But at the end of the day, you can see that that bell is going to stretch out as the years progress, okay? So what does that mean for our fire and EMS personnel? Throughout our fire and EMS departments and the data that we received, again, courtesy of Chief West, this is a dot chart, and you'll have to review it because it's really hard to try and identify. You have your age in years on the bottom part of the graph and the length of service that they've given to their community and the trend line. And there's some key points in there. A strong positive relationship between age and years of service. About 53 years old. I'm kind of that age maybe. And years of service is roughly 31 years of service. I spent 33 years in the fire service. So it runs congruent to that. And you can see that the number of volunteers we have on the front end, not as much, which is part of the concern that we're trying to address with this proposal is to proliferate, retain, attract, and keep our volunteer system and our paid on call system going. On the far end of that spectrum, you can see that we have members that are over 70 years old and have been in the service almost 50 years. God bless them. They're fantastic. This gives you a better age distribution. You can see the sweet spot is 35 to 44 years of age, but you can see that the older our volunteer paid on call firefighters get, you're having more personnel getting older and they're just aging out. We can't do it forever. And, you know, fortunately for us in our community, that volunteer and paid on call system is Washington County gold. It is the fabric of who we are. A little plug for Boltonville, Rain Days this weekend. I'm sure you all heard of Rain Days. It's their 109th year that they're holding that event. That's pretty amazing. We want to keep that going. And it's important. I mean, your chairman today and your colleague and Supervisor Berg, they both served departments. So just within this small group, 40% of us served a volunteer paid on call. If we can get that throughout Washington County, that's a lot of volunteers. But we want to try and proliferate that. Lastly, our objectives. With the proposal that we're going to be talking and discussing about in future meetings, it does mitigate long-term 5 to 10 year property tax burden. It does proliferate the volunteer and paid on call fire and EMS service. It does preserve satisfactory level of EMS service for all Washington County citizens. It does relieve municipal fiscal pressure, and it does provide fiscal sustainable improvements for fire EMS departments while maintaining local control. And I really want to make that very, very clear. Provide fiscal sustainable improvements for fire EMS departments while maintaining local control. When we get this proposal to you for consideration and possible approval, all local control stays local. All operational decisions stay local. And I want to make that very, very clear. The county is just there because we want to be a municipal shared partner. You have all been witness to the shared services that we already participate in through our deputy sheriff, through GIS, through IT, through lead lateral. This is just yet another opportunity for us to be partners and increase our values, mission, vision, values. The mission, this is the mission. The vision is the proposal, the value system that we possess. With integrity, with respect, compassion, collaboration, optimism, all of our values are integrated completely into the proposal we're providing. And we'll provide to you in more detail in upcoming meetings. I'm happy to entertain any questions that you may have.
I'll start with a brief comment. So what Dave has summarized here has been in the works for several years. This has been countless meetings with countless task force groups. I would say that the positive thing that's come of this so far is it's brought all the key players in the room together to talk. It's coming from different lenses as far as, you know, from the fire departments, from the administrators, from the chief elected officials. It gets everybody in a room and gets everybody talking. So regardless of what comes of this, that is one of the biggest positives I can see coming from this at this point. There's a lot of work to do yet. We have individuals in the room here that are placeholders in this as well. So if you guys have any questions, I guess we're not here to get into the fine details because those haven't been worked out yet. But obviously, if you have questions for Dave, I've been involved with this from the very beginning, but I'll defer to Dave for questions. Supervisor Bossert.
All right.
Yes, sir.
What is a timeline for when you plan to have a final proposal in front of the county board?
Well, my objective, and we've told all the stakeholders, Supervisor, that our objective is to have this very high level meeting to introduce this concept to you, even prior to the previous discussions of we're working on it, we're working on it, we're working on it. This is the introduction of it. Next month, we're gonna bring more details to you as a discussion point, so we can tighten it up some more over the next month. And in July, we bring the full proposal to you, hopefully worked out, precise for your consideration and approval. And if you do approve or consider and approve in July, it will go forward to the August county board meeting.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, next question. So right now, we're granting $1 million per year.
Yes, sir.
And I saw something in the packet that referenced spending at least $1 million a year on this new proposal. Is the net of this going to be levy neutral, or is it likely we're gonna be spending a lot more than $1 million a year?
Is it levy neutral? So the $1 million that we've been providing, the fire and EMS grants have been supported through ARPA funding. So we
Okay,
have
so
not,
that's-
we
yeah,
have not levied anything for the fire and EMS grants, nothing.
yeah. Okay, so this would be.
So this is
new
something that's brand new,
Yeah,
brand new, Supervisor.
okay, and I've heard some concern, maybe it's misinformation, that West Bend, their fire department would get rolled into the county and become a county department. Everything I'm hearing from you today is the opposite.
I wanna reiterate, and I have said this repeatedly to all our stakeholders. We wanna be a partner in shared services. All control operationally, municipally, all still remains within the scope of local control.
All right, perfect.
Okay?
Perfect, that.
I'll look right into the camera and say it. This is all a partnership with our municipal partners, and all operational and decision-making remains local.
Okay, so there's some bad information out there.
I wouldn't say bad information. I just think it's so new. It's not new really, because as Supervisor Newman identified, we've been working on it for some time.
Yeah,
But it's just, I think anything new, the unknown, the fear of the unknown, if you will, it always bleeds over into that arena.
yeah,
So there is no intention whatsoever. We don't want anything, no control. We don't want that. I mean, if the chair can attest to the executive's commentary in all the meetings that he's at. We don't want that. We just want to help. That's all we want to do. We just want to help.
all right, perfect, sounds good, thank you.
I'll confirm Dave's response that all the meetings I've been to, there's never been one discussion about the county taking over a department or combining or any of that. It's just a proposal draft that's out there now would, I guess the main point of it is the county would be the funding source, because the county has the ability to do that by the state statute to fund for EMS. Supervisor Pridemore.
Question is, why such an increase in EMS services? This just seems really dramatic, 50%. I'm looking at your charts here.
Sure, the demand for EMS service
Yes.
is just, it's human behavior. Right? We're getting older
Mhm.
and people call 911 more often. I don't want to be like, I don't want to give a sermon, right? I don't want to do that. I don't want to elongate this meeting, but the 911 system, by its very nature, is super simple, right? And for anything, a hangnail, or I can't reach my aspirin out of the medicine cabinet, people literally call 911 for everything, And as a result of that, we go, or they go.
Right.
hmm
These frivolous calls, maybe we can call them. some of
Well,
them- some of
before
them are.
before you say that, before you say anything, any call is someone's emergency.
Okay.
We may not feel it's a true emergency,
Mhm.
but whomever is using that service, that's their emergency. So I want to make sure that that's very clear. I don't want to,
Okay,
you know, say those things because it's someone's emergency.
okay, so are people getting charged for these services themselves, the citizens?
I can tell you, so like when you say charged, yes, if you're
I mean,
being taken to the
volunteers,
hospital
so-
and you're transported to the hospital,
Right,
yes, you are being billed for that service. But if, for example, you fall down and you just need help getting up into bed or whatever,
right.
that's a service. No one's getting
Okay,
dinged for that, if you
Mhm.
will. Okay,
I'm just wondering, that's, okay.
there's thoughts out there, there's folks out there, other agencies that are going down that rabbit hole and seeing if they can do that. But to my knowledge, I don't think any of our agencies are doing that yet.
And then one last question, to get more young people to volunteer,
Mm-hmm.
are we, do we pay for like any education for them or any kind of more incentive for them?
I can't speak directly for our agencies in Washington County as to what they do to provide those services
Okay,
and that education. But I know throughout Washington County, our volunteer base, Washington County does some pretty unique things, right? NGH,
Mhm.
Next Gen Housing, bringing more people into the community, which requires more services. Heart and Homestead. Heart and Homestead has several departments within Washington County that participate in the Heart and Homestead program. So if you volunteer at Jackson Fire and you apply for that program, all that goes towards your Heart and Homestead and you receive that benefit. So a lot of good things are coming and trying to attract. The reality with volunteerism, it's not just the fire department, it's not just Washington County. It's church, it's Rotary clubs, it's everything, right? It's just the nature of what we are in 2026. That's not germane to us. Did you like that, Mike? It's not germane to us.
Okay. Not to get in the weeds too much, but to answer Supervisor Pridmore's question, that my experience with local fire departments, if they, especially volunteers, if they have a volunteer that comes in, they pay for schooling and training. That's all provided for the most part. The biggest commitment is the hours it takes because the requirements for the certifications has gotten out of control. So anybody else have any other questions?
A couple more. So I know a lot of these smaller communities are struggling to maintain the volunteer EMS item. You know, volunteer firefighting works well. With the aging population and the increase in calls, the volunteer EMS is becoming a struggle. Is there going to be, as part of this, some consolidation of some of the towns and their volunteer EMS?
Well, I think, again, I would just want to reiterate the last bullet point. That local control operationally and
Right.
decision-making stays local. But through this process and the service agreement that we're proposing, that would enhance some additional resources to accomplish that goal.
Okay, so like,
So we're not coming into the service agreement and saying, you have to do this in order to get this. No. If it happens organically, wonderful, right? The
Yeah.
relationship with West Bend and Kewaskum, that's a great relationship that's working out well. If those things happen organically, wonderful. And the county will be there to recognize that. But it does not dictate, it does not mandate.
right, we're not dictating.
No,
But,
no.
you know, I look at some of the situations like we have Allenton has their volunteer
Mhm.
fire and EMS. Right down the road, St. Lawrence has a volunteer fire EMS. Then you got Slinger, I don't know if they're volunteer or. if
Yes, they are.
They're volunteer as
Mhm.
well. So, and do they contract out for their EMS?
They do.
Right? Okay,
Mhm.
and then you got the town of Hartford, and they have, I think, their own volunteer.
No, Town of Hartford does not.
Okay,
No.
is it the city of Hartford that has?
City does, yes.
Okay, and they're volunteer as well?
City's a
Or-
combination. So they
Okay,
do have some volunteers, some paid on call, some full-time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so we have all these departments in close proximity to each other. There's a lot of redundancy there. And the taxpayers in the community are paying for that redundancy. So I think there's some hope that the communities will decide amongst themselves how to best consolidate that and reduce some of that. and
I
support
think,
each other.
I think your commentary is recognized. And the professionals that are off my shoulders are invested in those opportunities as well.
Okay, good.
So I can't speak for them, but that's the general consensus that I'm hearing. Again, we're like this. That's
Yeah.
right. We're not gonna dictate, mandate anything. This is just a shared service effort with our partners throughout Washington County.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Yes.
Anybody else have any questions? This time. Yeah, I believe the next step will be, we have a chief elected officials meeting next week, so it'll be discussed again there and then potentially come back.
Right. The next step, as Mr. Chairman said, for this committee is give a more detailed report for you. Comprehensive, maybe not as detailed. It might be something where it will be a high level, but we don't want to get in the weeds of all of it. That's the stuff that we're supposed to do. If you want to get into the weeds, we absolutely can. But it's a lot. It's a lot. And, you know, I ask for patience. Throughout the whole process, we're asking for patience. Because like the chairman said, we've got 3 different lenses we're looking through: political, administrative, and operational. And we're trying to get our arms around all of them in a comprehensive and cohesive, agreeable manner.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Next agenda item is to determine our reoccurring date and time for the future meetings. I did touch base with all of you and sounds like the 3rd Wednesday at 7 a.m. will work. So if we got a consensus on that, we'll continue those. Okay. That concludes our agenda and I will adjourn by the call of the chair. Thank you.